Hey everyone, I've been gone for a while, but there's some recent changes in Season 3 and in the patch test realm for Season 4 that have got me kind of interested in some of the features that we could look forward to in the next season of Diablo. So I thought I'd make a little video showcasing some of the cooler stuff that interests me. In case some of you had some similar interests, you might be interested in it too. So first of all, one thing that caught my attention is Endless Fury, which now gives up to 30% bonus Fury. I guess that was a change in Season 3, but I never noticed. What's even better than that, though, is the Relentless Arms Master. This is going up to, well, it used to go from 15% to 36%, I think, but now the base value is 35%. It goes up to 50. And on top of that, in Season 4, you'll actually be able to put resource aspects on your amulet. So, which we used to be able to get only up to like 15% on a ring with the Codex version, but in the next season, we'll be able to get up to 52%. It'll just have to be on the amulet with the Codex version. That's huge, huge bonus. Anyway, so let's see what we can do with this. I'm going to turn it down to 52.5. There we go. I'm going to take this off for now. We'll just start off with a simple leveling build. Let's say we're doing lunging strike and upheaval. So first of all, let me just give my own take on the tier list, I guess you could say. Um, upheaval, number one, it's the best. You get berserking every time you hit stuff with it. So that makes you move faster, it makes you deal more damage, and eventually it'll let you deal or regenerate more fury right here. This. So this is the level 10 kind of like base template. So we're going to get lunging strike, just 2 points. We're going to max out a core skill. We're going to get endless fury, and we're going to lunge with our two-handed sword. It's a little slower than the one-handers, but we're going to get a 30% bonus to our fury generation. And since we're using upheaval, we're going to be hitting a lot of stuff all at once. We're going to get 100% uptime on berserking. That's going to make us move faster, deal more damage, and generate more fury. And here's some more fast movement. So by level 10, and this should be pretty quick, you should have what we're looking at right here. And the rotation that actually works for this, based on all this bonus fury generation and endless fury, is 2 lunges and an upheaval. So you'll generate enough fury with 2 lunges to pay for upheaval. Just about, maybe not exactly, but if an enemy like hits you once while you're lunging, then you'll have enough to pay for upheaval. So that sounds pretty smooth. Um, and you could change this out for something else. You could swap in double swing or rend. Any of these are pretty much equally viable. Changes a little bit with double swing. You could like use bash instead. I'll talk about that more later. We're just going to focus on upheaval now because that's S tier. I think double swing is A tier. The problem with upheaval, it has bad single target DPS, so when you want to fight bosses, it's weak. The problem with double swing is it has bad AoE, so it's only good when you're fighting bosses. A good approach to leveling quickly, I think, would be to just run upheaval until you get to a boss. Maybe then swap these 7 points for 7 in double swing. Maybe switch these 2 in lunge to those 2 in bash. Hoda's kind of all right. It doesn't scale well early now. It essentially has half the power it used to because of the change to Furious Hoda in the early game. The fact that you can crit 20% more when your Fury is full is not huge. Critting is not a great bonus to your damage, so it's not really like that important until late game if you get like Grandfather or something. And then getting Violent Hammer the Ancient's also not great because you're not overpowering all the time. This is almost never helpful. Yeah. Um, Rend, I would say, is C tier after Hoda. It's efficient. It does a lot of damage. It gives you a good refund. It helps you keep vulnerable up, but that's not hugely important early game. Um, the efficiency is nice, but because things are bleeding, you're just like standing there waiting for it to die, and you could just walk away. But then if it drops treasure, you have to walk back. It's stupid. The main problem with Rend is like the small AoE and the fact that it's a bleed, so that's just bad. And then Whirlwind, I would say, is the very worst of all. There's no scaling with attack speed. There's no scaling with overpower, so it's bad late game. There's good crit scaling because of Dire Hoda, or Dire Whirlwind, but that requires an aspect, and it doesn't really pay off until late game. It's just the worst. So yeah, you'll probably just want to run Upheaval till you get to like the capstone, and then run Double Swing. Um, yeah. Anyway, so this is the starter build, sort of. And you get this by level 10. And so then let's see what it looks like at level 25. You're going to want to grab Leap and Charge. And did I get? Yeah. And then Rally and Cry. And now we can actually get Furious Impulse, our Iron Maelstrom, or Call the Ancients also could be good. And then Walking Arsenal. And the reason we choose Walking Arsenal is because, as I mentioned before, we can put Relentless Arms Master on an amulet. And so now we actually make enough fury with one single lunge to pay for Upheaval. And in fact, you don't even need Endless Fury anymore. You can do this with a dual wield lunge. So you can get rid of these points in Endless Fury, put them into like Rally and Cry, start building up these Charge and Leap, keep selling your Endless Fury. And this should get us up to like level 45. We got 13 more points we could spend, so maybe you'll just grab these standard 3, 4 here, a couple more here. At this point, it doesn't matter too much, whatever. But the point is, yeah, so at this point, every time you lunge, you're swapping weapons to dual wield. You'll generate 6. You get an extra 18% here. Yeah, the generation is huge. And then you swap back to Upheaval, and you keep your Berserking up. It's pretty good. This would actually look a little bit different for Double Swing, so I'll just show what that's like. In this case, in order to actually gain Berserking, you need 3 points in Battle Fervor. Yeah, I think that's it though. Oh, right, and you're going to be using Bash instead. So this is a lot better for single target DPS because, of course, Double Swing does more damage than Upheaval. And we're going to be using Bash instead of Lunge, which is a little bit slower, but we actually get to run a better rotation. At this point, we'll be doing Bash, and it'll generate 50 resources. We're going to do two-hand Bash, so we actually need to keep Endless Fury. Maybe we'll just drop those. So we're going to generate 50 resources with each two-hand hammer bash, and then we'll double swing twice. And once in a while, we're going to actually stun the enemy with bash, and then we'll be swinging double swing for free. So this is going to just melt bosses. Yeah, and then obviously, since we have Walking Arsenal, we need to occasionally leap or charge. Just once every 10 seconds, we need to either leap or charge, and that shouldn't be a problem. These each have a 14-second cooldown at this point, so we're good. Yeah, and we'll do a two-hand sword with these, dual wield this, two-hand hammer with this. Yeah, like I said, this is crazy. One bash, two double swings, over and over and over. Bosses are just going to melt with that, so you'll get through the capstone pretty easily, I think. So yeah, that's the leveling build idea basically. The rotations are a little bit different if you're going to run Rend or Hoda or Whirlwind, but obviously, my opinion is you really don't want to do that. Those things, they're annoying, they're weak, they suck. You don't want to do that. Yeah, and it's all pretty much made possible by this relentless arms master on the amulet. It's insane. It's really good. 52% fury generation at level 25 is just gross. Yeah, so you just got to run like one dungeon to unlock that. You don't really need anything else, I think, for quick leveling. Um, let's see, I got a few more fun little notes I wanted to throw at you for getting ready with the season. Some of the calculations I did, um, kind of just weighing which abilities are going to do the most damage potentially for barbarians. We're looking at Death Blow against bosses with a two-handed mace is going to be king. Probably going to pretty easily one tap a lot of stuff like world bosses, probably level, tier 200 bosses at some point. I'm not sure exactly how well this is going to scale, but it's going to hit harder than everything else, I'm pretty sure. Kick with Ramaladni's is going to be disgusting because Power Kick scales with Fury, and then so does Ramaladni's Magnum Opus. Even though you're not even using it to kick, you're holding it, and so you'll still get the bonus from it. Then there's Kick without RMO, Charge with a two-handed mace, Death Blow against non-bosses, still going to hit really hard. And all of these things are going to hit harder than Upheaval, and all of these things are going to hit harder than Hoda. And some of you have probably seen videos of Hoda on the PTR just like destroying things. That doesn't mean Hoda's the best. It just means barbarians are that good. You could choose like the fifth best skill and still annihilate everything on the screen. So yeah, it's going to be a fun season, I think. The changes to Banished Lord's Talisman are kind of a bummer for the decreased damage we'll be doing, but I added up the fury you'll be spending with Red Ring of Fur, Banished Lord's Talisman, Unbridled Rage, and just spamming Hoda, and they actually sync up the crits with the overpowers. That wasn't true before, and it is now, so the Hoda spamming builds are going to see a nice boost in their potential, so that's exciting. I've got some simple calculations here for how to reach max speed. Basically, you need like good rolls on a single two-hander and a one-hander for weapon speed. This requires a greater affix and a masterwork proc on those affixes. Carnage for 16. And then if you have something like one-hand sword expertise and rapid, like let's say you're running a lunge build, you could hit 300% like that. Of course, if you're like not using one-handed swords, maybe you'll need to find some other way to get a 30%, or if you're just using core skills, you'll run accelerating here for 50, and then you'll need to come up with another 40 some other way. But yeah, didn't go into that too much detail yet. This is more exciting though. Total crit 100%. So if you run crit on gloves, amulet, and rings, and you get greater affixes with one masterwork proc on those, plus the base crit chance plus your dexterity, and then you just run Blood Feeder, Flawless Technique, and Rage of Harrogath, boom, you're at 100% crit chance. Nice. So then there's just some random calculations for resource generation. It's not really important. And then my weight of like which key passives are going to be the best. When do you want to use each one? Basically, I would say level up with Walking Arsenal. Unconstrained and Wrath of the Berserker is still a really good combo. Not as good as Season 3 because they broke the snapshotting mechanic that it relied on. So it'll still be really good if you have a very high uptime on Supreme Wrath of the Berserker. So for fights that are like 15 seconds long, if you could dump 200 Fury in the first couple seconds, then you'll keep Supreme Wrath of the Berserker for the entire fight. in that case, this is the best, I think. So if you're like farming bosses with Death Blow and you want to use Kick to dump your Fury, that's probably a really good combo. But eventually you'll want to transition to Unbridled Rage if you're using a core skill that like actually benefits from spending Fury and you can afford to, that's a good choice. Or if you're a bleed build and you have Grandfather, you'll want to switch to Gushing Wounds at that point. But yeah, other than that, I'd say pretty much just stick with Walking Arsenal while you're leveling, Unconstrained and Wrath of Berserker while you're killing bosses, farming gear, and then once you're geared, you'll probably want to run Unbridled Rage or Gushing Wounds. Yeah, so I've calculated like the exact breakpoints when each of these stops being the best or starts being the best, depending on how you want to look at it. But I'm not going to read that all out loud. It just kind of reiterated the highlights of it, so that's good enough. Anyway, it's been a long enough video. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you all excited like I am, and looking forward to making more videos. Looking forward to coming back online. So thanks for watching, and let me know what you think.